In this video, let us make the Iyengar Bakery fame Dil Kush or Dil Pasand recipe, which is basically an Indian pie with a moist, coconutty and fruity filling which hits the right sweet notes in your tongue, taking you back in a nostalgic ride for sure. So many of you always question me that why do I add my yeast directly to the flour without activating it? So let us start by activating the yeast, for which transfer the weighed out lukewarm milk to a bowl, add in the sugar followed by yeast. Stir to dissolve, cover it with a plate and let it sit for 15 minutes to turn bubbly and foamy. This is the step you have to follow if you are using active dry yeast. But I always use instant yeast, so that is the reason there is no need for it to be activated, and you can also read more about that from our Instagram infographics if you are using that platform. Okay, so proceeding with the recipe, since I always use instant yeast which do not call for activation, so I am directly proceeding to the next step without waiting for the 15 minutes, which is to add the flour and salt to the bowl. Stir to combine everything to a dough. At some point, you will have to ditch the spatula and switch over to your hands to get everything into a dough. Remember, we have not yet added any fat to the dough, and hence the dough will be a bit dry at this stage. So you can add 1 to 3 teaspoons of additional lukewarm milk if need be at this stage and start kneading. The dough will be dry and that's how it will be. It is okay. I added about 2 teaspoons of milk in total. Do not add way too much. So do not be tempted to add way too much, because once you add the fat source, which will be butter in this case, you will see the magic happen. Okay, so we are following a delayed fat method for this dough, and if you are curious to know why, then definitely check out this video where I talk about the science behind bread baking, and I also go in depth answering many your queries. So after about 6 minutes, add the butter. Look at the texture, it is super soft. That way you can easily incorporate it into the dough. So I just let my butter sit at room temperature for nearly an hour now. So that's how it gets softened, and that's how it becomes easier for us to incorporate it into the dough and knead it. So add the butter and knead well for another 10 minutes. If making in a stand mixer, follow the same procedure. Mix for 5 minutes, add the butter and knead again for just 4 more minutes this time. Now it is going to be a messy job if you are doing it with your hands once you add the butter, but in just few minutes you will observe that the dough starts coming nicely and is turning into a smooth and luscious dough. Once kneaded, it would be so soft and bouncy. Okay, so time for proofing. After kneading for 10 minutes, transfer it to the same bowl in which you kneaded the dough and let it proof for 1.5 hours. Or if you own an instant pot like I do, you can proof in that too. Simply grease the bowl with oil and proof for 45 minutes in this case. So grease your pot with some oil, place the dough inside it and coat it from all sides with oil too. Then put it in your pot, choose the setting yogurt and let it proof for 45 minutes. The detailed instructions can be found on our site spicesandflavors.com, the link for which is in the description box below. While the dough is proofing, let us prepare the stuffing to go inside. Combine together fresh or frozen shredded coconut, tutti frutti, cashew nuts, icing sugar, melted butter and pineapple essence. The pineapple essence is optional here, you can skip it or even you choose to add vanilla essence. So I just think pineapple makes everything flavorful. Okay, so if you have glazed cherries, you can chop them and use too. I did not have it today, so skip. So you can use about 2 to 3 tablespoons of it. So give everything a good mix and set aside. Here I also wanted to share that in some bakeries, what they do is they mix everything in the stand mixer. So the tutti frutti cherries, they release their juices and bind everything to become a semi-sticky mass. Now you can follow that method or you can just mix it with a spoon and set it aside like I have done today. Once the dough proofs, it is time to shape it. So divide the dough into 3 portions, each weighing 183 grams, 183 grams and 80 grams. You don't have to be so precise like I am. You can just eyeball 2, no big deal. Just keep 1 small size dough for decorations and the 2 equal sizes for rolling. Again, the decorations that we will be doing is optional. In that case, just simply divide the dough into 2 if you do not want to do that extra step. So take 1 portion of the dough, roll it into 8 inches circle, transfer to a parchment paper. Add the filling on top. Yes, all of it. That's the beauty of this bake. Then roll the other circle to 9 inches in diameter and place it on top in order to cover the filling. Make sure to seal the 2 circles well so that nothing breaks open while baking. Then run a knife or a spoon like this to give it a proper circular shape. Now you can stop at this stage, but if you are following me, you know that I always like to take it to the next level. Oh, by the way, if you are not yet following, then please do consider subscribing and also hit the bell icon as I post new videos on baking and desserts every single week. I would love to have you guys on board. Okay, so continuing with the smaller portion of the dough that we had left, I would make some roses and leaves. To make the leaves, I am using this silicone fondant mold. Take a small portion of the dough, press and shape it to make the leaf and set aside. So beautiful, right? Now if you do not have a mold like this, do not worry, we can freehand draw the leaves too. So keep watching the video to know how to do that. And that's our leaves all done. To make the roses, roll the dough into a circle, making use of the back of your nozzle or a cookie cutter. Cut out 5 circles. Place it one on top of the other as you can see it here in the video. Then start rolling from the top like we do for a Swiss roll cake. Then slice in the center to reveal 2 cute roses. Adjust the leaves to give it a proper shape and set aside. Now let's move on to make the freehand leaves that I had talked previously. So it would be, I think, easier to watch it rather than me explaining. With whatever is left out, we will roll it into thin cylinders, take 2 such cylinders and start braiding. It is okay if it breaks while rolling. We will make small cylinders, braid them and patch them to make this cute border design. So now that the border is ready, place the roses and leaves and tada! A beautiful pie design is ready. I must say a beautiful Indian pie is ready. So all you now have to do is cover it and let it rest for 15 minutes. Then brush the top with some milk and bake until golden brown. So bake it in a preheated oven of 180 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Once baked, brush some butter on top to give that shiny golden look and also to make the crust soft, and then allow it to cool completely before slicing and enjoying. Wasn't that delicious? I hope you guys enjoyed this modern twist on the classic Iyengar Bakery fame Dil Pasand recipe. I do have few other bakery style recipes on the channel that I would link at the end of this video or also in the description box below for you guys to check out. And if you did like this video, then definitely smash that like button. If you're from Bangalore, then drop a hi in the comments below as I know what this means to you guys. Please do consider subscribing to our channel for more such baking and dessert related recipes. I'll see you soon. Until then, this is Sushma signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.